What's up, everyone? I'm Adam. This is Andrew. We're the A team.
A team.
Tobu.
Oh wait. We're documenting our night training night out here on campus, Winthrop. Hell yeah.
Been a while since we've been outside.
That's for sure.
At least together, trying to train.
Due to weather and other sources of things.
Unfortunate sources of things.
Yeah.
Why make a parkour team?
Why make a parkour team? That's a great question. Personally, why I wanted to start a parkour team is to like inspire and bring together more people who really have the same type of love for the movement. I also really want to bring light to sort of how we train and how it may differ from somebody else, especially for like our students that we teach.
Yeah, I definitely want to track like our training progress and like just the way we change our movement styles and how we progress, and like videos of training and how we train with this movement.
It's been really fun just to like document it, but now we're actually going to put our voices and faces to it too, which is really strange, but
a little weird.
Yeah. First time vlogging is always a thing, right?
Yeah. I've been training coming up on 2 years, and
Same?
about the same.
Yeah.
Met where we work at the gym, just kind of started going hard from there.
Yeah, I started more on the flip side. So originally I started out sort of not knowing really what was going on. I saw Jason Paul vlogs and everything, and I got super inspired. My first university, I started out doing a lot more rock climbing, and then I met someone who did tricking. So then I started getting into the flips and learning the basics of parkour, like basic vaults, such as like a cat pass and things like that.
So was that like the first time that you were like introduced to parkour? Was like Jason Paul making videos like before that? Have you ever like seen parkour, or just like?
Well, I've seen like those compilations like on Instagram and things like that.
Always have like that one song. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I started out with compilations.
Parkour compilation 3.
3. Dude, those things were freaking killer though.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, cool. And then that was like my first exposure to it, and I was like, this stuff's crazy. And then I started watching Jason Paul and realized more of how down to earth it is, and like how chill the people are and how much effort and love they put into what they do. So that really sparked my interest in it. Needless to say, I spent several weeks just catching up from the very beginning videos all the way until like recent videos. But that was back when I first started parkour. I would nonstop watch, you know.
Just like fill up on parkour videos.
Yep.
Get motivated and go fall on your face a lot.
Oh yeah, of course.
Like sick. It's worth it.
Yeah. Luckily, for some reason, I was really mean to myself at the beginning of training. I wouldn't say if it was like mean, just more like I wanted to get the basics done sooner. So I sort of took a rushed but yet thought out approach. So for example, with my rolls, like my parkour rolls, it took me a couple weeks to fully like dial in the technique, and then I instantly took it to concrete and beat myself up pretty much. I got bruises on my shoulder and my hip because I was like, okay, this isn't right. And I was like, if I can just keep going even with bruises and it doesn't hurt, then I know I'm doing it right. So
yeah, I love how unforgiving the sport is. Like you know when you mess up.
yeah, that's for sure.
It's really good. Quick lessons.
As soon as I learned more about like the regular jumps and everything, I started training that a lot more because I had my flips somewhat dialed in, at least to the point where I was comfortable with branching out. And at the time that I started branching out more, I also started pulling away from rock climbing. I definitely think it brought more opportunities through parkour than I have in rock climbing. How about you, Adam?
I don't know of like a clear moment where I was like, I'm gonna start doing parkour. It was more so just like a thing that I would do. Like I'd be out with a group of friends like skating or something back when I was little, and probably like 13, 14 years old, and we'd be around town, and there'd be some days we'd get tired of skating, or some things we couldn't skate, or we'd just be like, hey, I want to get on top of that building. So it mostly just started with like an urban exploration kind of thing. We would skate to spots, skate there, and then go explore things you couldn't go to on a skateboard. So I kind of started by just like out of necessity of having to climb and jump to get up on top of and down from buildings. And then it was like, okay, how fast can we get up and down? You know, just turning it more into like a, not so much competition, but just like an improvement, a refinement of what we were doing. So that really got me into like the movements of parkour, even though I wasn't necessarily training the sport knowledgeably yet. And I was like 16 years old when I first started like watching parkour videos, just like all the compilations and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's tight. So I learned a couple vaults and everything and like what they were called. A lot of stuff that we'd already been doing, just didn't have terminology for yet. But then of course there's like a ton of other things that you just don't think about. Weird tricks and tips that you learn from other people to kind of progress your learning faster, expand your knowledge with other people's knowledge.
Right. Proven by us hanging out.
Yeah, for sure. And so
been nice.
With that, I kind of like actually stopped for a while, skateboarding altogether and parkour movement really in general. I went towards music more so, and then kind of had like a little rough time in my life and kind of stopped pursuing anything until I was just like, this sucks. So I was like, let me start doing everything again.
Let's get out of this.
So that's when I started like actually training hard and really going for stuff and like trying to progress myself. Like, get good, kid. I started mostly with like bigger jumps because of my skateboarding background. It was kind of like you jump stairs, you jump gaps, you jump this, and so I'm used to taking a lot of big drops. And so it kind of just progressed from there. It's like, sick, I can jump off of this easy.
Yeah.
So it's like, let me vault over this to this drop, etc. Spun into a tailspin of wild drops. Yes.
And death. Yeah. No. Yeah, that's crazy because it's like, that's the opposite for me. Since I started more in like a ball sport type of background, I wasn't taking jumps. I was just doing jumps. The most jumps I was doing was like for goalkeeping in soccer. Like I never really jumped before, so I focused more on like smoothness and flow and connecting things together because I thought for me that was super satisfying at the time, and I hadn't really learned that my body could take huge drops and be fine. And I was like, okay. I mean, the most drop I took when I first started, I guess, was like a story, and that's it. And rolled out of it. But
yeah, it's astonishing how much you can do and just be like, oh, that was good.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Yeah, until you mess it up, then you're like, oh, what happened?
Not good.
Not good. Not good. Limps away. You know that casual little like the obviously hurt jog away. Like, yep, I'm good.
That
I'm
guy's
sick.
not okay.
That guy's not good. Yeah, but I guess it's a little bit on our backgrounds, you know. So, I got the job at Kinetic Heights, and then a few weeks in, I hear about this guy who got electrocuted and fell 2 stories.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, cool, this guy sounds rad. And then little did I know at the time that was gonna be my coworker. And then he comes in, I'm like, oh, who are you? He's like, oh, I'm Adam. I'm like, wait, are you the guy that fell 2 stories that got electrocuted? He's like, yeah, that's me. And I was like, oh, sick, all right. And then that's sort of like the first introduction that I had to Adam.
I'm like, who the fuck?
Yeah, I'm like, what? Why?
That's obviously got issues.
But yeah, that was cool though, because I was like, all right, cool. And then we got to talking a lot more, and then I don't even remember when we first started like actually hanging out.
Yeah, just mostly like work and stuff. And we're talking.
That's what I
So
thought.
I kind of knew Nick from before.
Right. Yeah.
And
Sadly, he's sort of stopped training a bit, but we're gonna see if he's gonna get back into it. Because he's actually pretty good. He just needs to get back over the fear since he recently broke his leg of like doing things again.
we're gonna just push him off of a bunch of stuff until he's like, oh yeah.
Until he's
I
like,
can
oh,
fall
I'm
off
fine.
this
Yeah. Hell yeah. Easy.
I forgot how much fun it was falling over.
Yeah. I think that's what a lot of people miss in parkour too. Is like they never understand how much you fall. And basically, the sport is you gotta love falling, or else you're never gonna learn. You know.
I mean,
Shoot, dude, that's what we even tell our students. Like, that's like, I just want them to fall.
I love watching the kids fall, man.
It's so funny, dude. It's so funny, especially when they laugh about it too.
Who
Because then
doesn't
you're
like watching kids fall?
I mean, honestly.
I think we really first started training, what, like August, September, I think, last year.
Last year?
Yeah.
What do you mean, like us, you and I?
That's when I started at the gym, and we started hanging out shortly after that.
Yeah, I think it was like a month after that. If that,
Yeah.
if a month. I think it was a couple weeks.
It was like December, January we started going on. January.
December, dude. December was the first start of it all, because that's when I was like finally, like, good.
And then we took
No more
like a little
injuries.
break before Christmas.
we
and
kinda
came
had
back
to.
and trained like 21 days in a row.
Yo, that was bad. That was like, it was great, but
I'm
after
still
the
recovering.
we both are, I think, man. Because like after that 21st day, we're like, I texted you. I was like, dude, I can't train anymore. I'm dead. And you're like, same. And then I think that's when we started just like regularly chilling.
Be recorded because we
Yep.
always miss it.
Yeah, every time.
Like,
every
why don't we have a
time.
camera with us? So
Mhm.
here we go, starting with the camera with us.
Yeah, friggin' finally. Well, yeah. I think we started. You know what's sad is since December, we never recorded until about what 2 months ago, because we're like, let's document our progress, especially since we're training all the time. All right, well, let's go train. So that way we can put the training. Almost. All right.
Train. 1, 2, 3, training. Who needs any blood in your arm? Foot slip. Ooh.
You landed here.
Who thought it would be so difficult to do a little step pre?
Freaking tough here, dude. There you go.
Challenge complete.
Idea. Kong, land, dive roll. That's freaking.
Oh yeah, all day. Second try Sunday.
That's far, man. It's like really far. Free it. What? The diving out of this?
Yeah.
Scary as hell.
You're just like, let me send my body upside down.
Yeah, but it's not. It's like up like this.
That's it. Hey. Yes. Oh yeah. Yes.
It has been done.
Sick. Anyways, new challenge. So, rail over there. I can see like the corner of it from right here. Trying to like, gauge it before I stand up and go.
Free and then side flip. Easy, bud.
Very easy.
Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah. Yeah. So with 2 sprained feet and dead elbow and wrist, pretty successful training session, I think.
Yeah. Say so. Couple good bails, couple good successful attempts.
Pretty much successful everything we tried
Yeah.
after some bails. So
Yeah, I feel like we actually pushed ourselves harder, dude.
yeah.
That's crazy. Like, vlogging it, I'm surprised we pushed ourselves as much. Normally we push ourselves hard, but like not that hard.
So we're probably gonna die in the next couple of videos.
Yep.
Stay tuned.
So
Look out
stay
for that.
tuned. Yeah. Hopefully our intro video that I'm gonna be putting together, that we're actually gonna be putting together, will come out soon as well. We're planning some nice lines for that at different campuses and spots around North and South Carolina, since that's like the only places that we have right now.
Mhm.
So that's all we got for now, I guess.
Sick.
Yeah. See
Till
you
next
guys
time.
in the next one. Yeah.
Yeah.